welcome to Facts and Two Cents. This is Petal. How are you doing? I hope you guys are having a great day so far. I hope you are awake. If you're anything like me, you have not slept as yet. But before we do, welcome to Facts and Two Cents. As you know, we are a channel that supports the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Harry, Meghan, Archie, Baby Lily, Mama Doria, Poola Guy, the chickens, a whole Invictus community, Mama Mia, everyone around. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And again, I am assuming most of us are probably like, if you drink coffee, you're probably drinking a mug of coffee or probably a whole flask of coffee. I mean, it is just amazing. Again, I have not slept as yet, so I went through the whole night. So I'm like, I'm gonna pass out as soon as I'm done with this, probably. But anyways, welcome, guys. Wow, we've had part two. And I would love to know what you guys got out of it. I would love to know, your thoughts, what you thought. But before we do that, I'm going to say hello to my friends in the chat and to all our friends who are not in the chat, but who are listening to us right now or listening to me right now. And so welcome, welcome, welcome. Again, happy Thursday. Wait, today, yeah, Thursday. I was like, what day is this? I feel like Harry. Harry never seem to know what day it is. So I totally feel like that. And so, yeah, welcome. Let's see, Tonya. Oh, Tonya Sweet. Oh, wait. Oh, Sweat. Oh, is it Sweet or Sweat? Oh, Tonya Sweat. Hello, Tonya. Welcome. Welcome. I hadn't seen you here before, but welcome. Fancy is here. Our awesome moderator Karen M is here. Annie is here. Ooh, Emerald is here. Hello, Emerald. There we go. Here, Emerald. And Carol Rennie is here. And I see myself in the chat. And Lorna is here. Whenever myself is in the chat at this time, is usually I'm saying hello to everybody before I come on. Joan is here. Hi, Joan. And Chosen to be His. And Joyce Voss is here. And Mad World and Kenitha and Rochelle. Oh, Rochelle, there you are. Rochelle and Black Queen is here saying hello. She's like, hello, Petal and all my lovely people. Was too tired last night to get up early to watch. Oh, to watch docu. Just done with Zumba. Needed that for my mental health. Watching now. Catch you on the replay. You go right ahead, Black Queen. You go right ahead. The replay will be there. And, tomorrow you can let us know what you think. That's awesome. So Hope's Garden is here. Hi, Hope's Garden. And Gail Anita one is here. And Janet Lavalli. Hello, guys. Awesome moderator, Church Nelly is here. Angela is here. And Church Nelly giving us all the big thumbs up right there. And if you're new here, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Just do what the little scrolly thing at the bottom there says. Just do the subscribe, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so that you know when we drop a video. And please like and share the video, please. We are trying to build our channel, and any help you can offer would be most appreciated. Oh, you can join our channel as well. That would be awesome when you support the channel once a month. Out of the kindness of your heart, really. Thank you all so much who have. Jennifer is here, and Adrian is here, and Sarah is here. So anyway, so I will catch up with all our other friends as we go along. But so guys, part two, what did you think? What stood out for you? What, tell me. Because we're gonna I have my what I thought about it as well. So I would really just love to hear your thoughts about Harry and Meghan, since we've now had all the episodes. And I'm assuming everybody probably, or at least the majority of people, have watched them all, or at least some parts of it. So I would just love to hear from you. So Karen M, our awesome moderator, it says, my big surprise is that Tyler Perry was Lily's godfather, and that he said he's not doing the UK church thing. I know. Tyler's like, I am not feeling those people. I am not going there and hanging out. And that would put some people's noses out of joints, because it's like, who do you think you are? That is our royal family. And Tyler's like, I don't care. I am not going over there to hang out with those people in that sunken place. I love it. I love how real Tyler is. He's like, you could do something here. And then if you guys want, you could do something over there, which makes me think maybe they did something during, because the only time baby Lily has been there is during the Jubilee. So if they did something there, would have been during the Jubilee. Could it have been when the picture that we saw of Harry and Meghan, with Meghan bare feet, and they're walking back to Frogmore with Harry holding baby Lily on his shoulder, and Meghan has Archie dressed in a jacket, and looked very nice and looks like a little suit. Could that be when they did a little christening thing for baby Lily? Don't know. Have no idea. They didn't expand on it, so no idea. So maybe they just did a thing in California. Who knows? But that was very funny. Tyler is not feeling the royal family. And you know how royalists feel about their royals. They are the pinnacle of everything, And so there's this black man who's just like, nah, I ain't feeling you. Y'all could go. I'm not going anywhere over there to hang out with those people. I don't think so. I mean, what are they going to say? Tyler doesn't need them. So I love it. I love Tyler Perry, but that was very surprising. And also to a wonderful, wonderful surprise. An absolutely wonderful surprise. And also that Tyler was with them when they went back to his house to film it, and they were showing us where baby Lily walked, took her first steps and all of those things. And it was just really so cool. I was like, oh. I'm so sorry, not baby Lily. I think it was actually Archie. It was like, ooh, I think it was Archie, that took his first steps there. I'm forgetting which baby it is now. So yeah. But very nice. Let's see. GBN says error message have been happening on all pro Harry and Meghan channels today. Pro Harry and Meghan channels were on YouTube. I was on there a little bit ago setting this up, so I hadn't seen an error message. So let me know if you had a problem getting on here. I didn't know that. So that's that is wild. I know Christopher Boozy has been actively calling out YouTube today. He was actually even doing it. And so who knows, maybe they're trying to get rid of some hate channels, hopefully, maybe, possibly, fingers crossed, maybe. So who knows? But hopefully they leave our channel alone. Leave us and Baron and, Duchess of Success and all the other the other pro ones that I know. I hope they leave us alone. That would be very nice. So yeah. Let's see. Oh, Joy says Tyler Perry is Lily's godfather, and Beyonce tweeted or sent them a text. Yes. Oh my goodness, that was so funny. And the thing that all of my notes are all over the place, so I don't have anything in order. But one of the things that I really liked was with the Beyonce message was this. I'd never seen Harry in glasses before, other than sunglasses. I was like, it looks like reading glasses because it kind of looks like my reading glasses. But I really like Harry in glasses. I was like, ooh, this is another side of Harry I hadn't seen before. I was like, I like him in these glasses. And this is why he's pretending. Well, I'm sure he's like being shocked that Beyonce is texting Meghan. But it's just. It was so great, and again, it's Beyonce. But it was really nice of her to have done that. So yeah, and of course we know, we saw Beyonce and Meghan together in the UK at the Lion King premiere. So yes. And of course, we know that Megan has been geeking out on Beyonce's album, and so she's was talking in one of her interviews about her favorite Beyonce songs, and so yeah. Oh, what is it? Oh shoot, what is the name of this song that she really likes? Cozy. She really is into Cozy, and then it's so funny. I looked at the lyrics, I was like, oh, okay. And it's like, okay, you go, Megan. All right then. So she's very much into Cozy, Beyonce's new song. So there you go. But I just, I really love Harry it's like, nerdy Harry in glasses, and I love it. I was like, oh, nice. Let's see. um, Fellish Babe. Oh, I haven't seen you here before. Welcome. Fellish says, "But I always know William was William, the modern day Judas, is the problem from day one. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm telling you, us squaddies call that on the nose, man. We could not have been more correct that William is at the bottom of all of this. Every time you turn over a leaf, the snake under there is William. And it's just like, dude, what is wrong with you? It's just like, and I love how the way, and we'll get to William in a second, but I love how the way, because I was like, they briefly mentioned that those bullying accusations against Meghan. But I love the way they didn't go after that, but it didn't around sort of like they got to the root of where that bullying came from, and and we'll get to that in a second, of how they approach the bullying, because they mentioned it and I thought they were going to go for it, and I was like, oh, they did it like a round way of reintroducing that, and it's like, oh, okay, I see it. So but we'll come back to that in a second. I'm going to stay in the chat for a second. And let's see. Adrian says, part 2 was just as good as part 1. I wished I was at that wedding, though. Yes. Those pictures are amazing. They just look amazing. So, yes. Karen says, I also love that Meghan and her niece reconnected. Yes. Oh, that is just so beautiful. I love that as well. And where is that? I have a picture of, again, my pictures are all over the place. Here we go. And you can't really see it very well, but oh, Karen, I'm going to move you out of the way there for a second so that you can see it a little bit better. There she is in the blue, hanging out with Meghan and Archie and Lily in their garden. And here she is making cake or cookies or whatever she is at the bottom with Archie. So yeah, it is really beautiful. Like I didn't expect to see her in the second part. I didn't know what the relationship is now, but it was really great to see her reconnect and have family. And you know that Samantha Markle is probably like kicking rocks somewhere. I hope that I don't know that she could kick, but she is pounding something and throwing something somewhere to know that her daughter is reconnected and have a relationship with Meghan, that she doesn't have. And so, that will cause some kind of, something there. But I'm really glad that they're reconnected and have a great relationship. So yes, that is so nice and positive. Let's see. Errol says, I did not see Bombshell. I saw the greatest love story ever told. Hollywood could not do better. Tyler said it best. Absolutely. Absolutely. All that bombshell and now all that. They are going to destroy the royal family nonsense that the British press. I mean, frankly, if they did, I would not be complaining. Truth be told. My petty self. But there was, it's not anything that's like, oh my gosh, it's this huge bombshell that, it isn't. What they did is everything that they've spoken about is how, and I love how subtly they introduce everything, they didn't do it the way people expected, or even the way I expected. They sort of like did it in such a subtle way and got their message across. And so it was very, very cool to see. Nalissa says, I'm interested to hear what the titles brigade is going to say from now on. I am telling you, they're angry because all of a sudden Harry and Meghan just took that stick right out of their hands. They took that stick, and if you didn't know, Harry and Meghan had offered to give back their titles. They didn't want it. They're like, take the titles. And so obviously the Queen did not accept that, and she allowed them to keep their titles, or she didn't take it from them. So now now it's, they're gonna look really stupid if they keep like, they should strip their titles. Like, we didn't ask you. We were trying to give it back to you, and they didn't take it. So, go talk to them. Go talk to the king. So it just is very, very funny. I mean, I would assume it's a little embarrassing for them, because all this time, that's all they had. Strip them of their titles. Strip them of their titles. And you're saying that to two people, which is the thing I keep bringing up on Twitter all the time. If you look at Harry and Meghan and the things that they've been doing, the things that they've said, how bluntly and openly they've been talking about things and really rocking the boat in every way, shape, and form with the monarchy, are these two people people that you would, who are afraid to lose a title? People who are afraid to lose titles don't do that sort of thing. They don't rock the boat. They just, they just sit by and let sort of let everything happen so they can protect their title or their position or whatever. People who do what Harry and Meghan are doing, titles and position and stuff is not at the forefront of who they are. And so the nonsense narrative about stripping the title, frankly, it's just boring and pathetic, really. And just incredibly boring. And so, so I'm going, it'll be very interesting to, I haven't been on Twitter in the last 40 minutes. So who knows what they're saying about strip the title, but that would be very interesting. It'll be very interesting to see. Let's see. You're right, Belle. The Sussexes love to be barefooted. Yeah, it's so funny. I have a picture with them. Let's see. A picture with them with bare feet. Oh, here it is. Their whole family is like that. Here they are. Adrian, I'm gonna move your comment right there. There we go. You can see it a little better. Here's Meghan under there with her bare feet, and Harry. They don't love shoes at all. And I love that, because when the picture that we saw of them going back to Frogmore, Meghan is bare feet, and here they are bare feet, and there are a lot of shots of them in the documentary of them just outside, inside, wherever, just bare feet. And I mean, we saw Harry all over, it's like doing polo, wherever, bare feet. And I love their earthiness. It's just an earthy, they just want their feet to touch the earth. And I love that. I'm like, these two just so belong together. They literally are like two peas in a pod. They're like literally belong together. It is so wonderful to see. It's so funny, that lady's face. I'm like, I wonder what she's hearing. She has such an intense look on her face. And Harry's looking back, smiling. It's like, oh, hi over there. But I absolutely love it. Let's see. Karen M says, I was surprised that Archie can sing and plays piano fairly well. It was so cute. Yeah, even if it was with one little fingers. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. I know. It's so fun. I think because we haven't heard Archie speak. Now he's just like, it's just almost it's like, oh my gosh, he speaks. Like, he can speak in whole sentences. It's like, because I think in my mind he's still baby Archie. So every time I hear him say something, it's like, oh my gosh, he's not a baby, he's a little boy. It's amazing. Now to hear baby Lily talk, that would be nice. Yes, I was like, glad to hear they offered to relinquish the titles. Yep. Oh, thank you, Ingrid, for asking. I am sleepy. I am tired. And again, I have not slept yet. So, it's like if you're going to get up at 3 a.m., how do you sleep? I would never be able to sleep. So I just stayed up. I was like responding to comments and stuff. And I was just like, I can't sleep. And so, needless to say, I stayed up until 6. And then the sun started coming out like around 7. And I've been up since. So, I'll sleep, Lord willing, I'll sleep later today or something. um, Gail Anita says Medea would have smashed up the palace with her chains. I totally believe you. I love that. I love how Tyler Perry is like Papa Bear. And when he was talking about, yeah, no, they abused her. They abused her. This is what they did and how they abused her. And we talk about this. It's just that, yeah, that it's like leaving a cult, or leaving one of those narcissistic families where they basically would do whatever it is, including put your life in danger to make you crawl back to them, which is what they did to Harry and Meghan. And so I'm glad he pointed out how abusive it was. And he also related to his mom, who was also abused. So Tyler Perry knows when he speak. And so, yeah. Joy says the whole 6 episodes were done. You mean don't or done? I'm assuming you were done very well. Director Liz Liz Garbus, did a very good job. I also love the music of the series. Oh, yes, 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 yes. That is the thing. Every time I hear it, it's kind of like one of those, I don't know, what are those like older romance, I don't know, it gives you that feel. Yes, I love it as well. It's like those old English romance novels. And yeah, it just, I don't know. And again, this is their love story. So it does. I totally, totally, totally agree with you on that. And I love their intro as well, because it puts you into that mood, and it's like, oh wow, yeah, this is a modern day romance fairy tale. I love it. Mixed with incandescent William. That's the bad one. Let's see. Let's see. Going down a little bit more before I jump into what so a few points that I thought that I got out of it. Let's see. Yvonne Yang. Hi, Yvonne. How are you? Or Avon, however you say it, you can let me know. Says, I feel at peace for H&M, Harry and Meghan. They told the truth and made it clear to me about Wills and Jason Knopf, basically. Yes, exactly. Or Jason Knopf. Yep. And I love how they did it. They didn't attack. They didn't do any of those things that the press was like, oh, they attack his bombshell, whatever. They said what they said, and it's statements of fact. And I love how Jenny Afia was the one that spoke most about it, because she is a lawyer. So it's, and she's speaking statement of facts as a lawyer, and so it's not something that's debatable. And so even Jason Knopf tried to be like, oh, no, and she's like, oh, no. And I love it. We'll get to that in a second, but I absolutely love it. Jenny Smith says, excellent podcast, all six. Okay, the series all says God is good. He sure is. Yep. Let's see. Oh, back to you, Yvonne. She says, if they don't leave you alone, Pedal, it means that you're doing something right. Truth wins, love wins, absolutely. But no, they need to leave Meghan alone. They seriously need to leave this woman alone. Let's see. Sharon says, yeah, it took me 3 times to get the link for your show this morning, and happy to me through Duchess of Success. I'm at disconnect and you had to disconnect and reconnect my YouTube for connection. YouTube acting funny. I don't know what's going on with YouTube. Again, this is the first time hearing it, so I don't know. I will definitely have to check it when I'm done. So could be an issue with YouTube. I don't know what's happening with it. So thank you guys for at least alerting me so I can check when I am done. So yeah, so hopefully that they leave our channels alone, and they don't do any big mess of of it or anything like that. So yeah. um uh Deborah says the picture of Beyonce and Megan was at the premiere of The Lion King when she was the voice of one of them. Megan got everything, and I would. Megan got everything, and I wish their docu series will have animated one. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, that's right. The picture with her and oh, did I say something else? I could have mistake what I said. Yes, you're right. Just in case I made a mistake. The picture of her and Beyonce was, yes, at the Lion King, in the UK, and yeah. Again, we don't know what's happening with Pearl, whether or not Netflix changed their mind, or if it's gonna find another home. I mean, hey, Tyler Perry has a studio, so there you go. Or who, I don't know. So I'm hoping Pearl is still there, sitting in the background there, or at least somebody has picked up already. So that would be really, really, really nice. Uh, oh, Avon, I think you're it today. She's talking to Chosen to be his. I'm glad that media evildoers do not get their 15 minutes of fame in this docu series. Roundabout way, get the job. Way to get the job done. I came away clear on evils done by Will and Knopf. And yeah, the funny thing is, because they were like, oh, those people accusing Meghan of, bullying and all that sort of thing. I think they all thought that they were going to get their name in lights or something like that. And I love the way how they introduce it. They got to the root of what the problem is. Those other things and staff and all of those things, that is the periphery of things. The root of the problem is the bosses, the people, the heads of the household, Charles and William. And it's interesting that they didn't really even focus on Charles at all. Mostly it's William. And so I'm assuming that Harry would be doing that in his book. So that would be very interesting to see what he does. Yeah. Archie's taking piano lessons. I'm sure he's giving his little fingers a workout. Yep. Let's see. Sharon says, I guess Archie hang out with Elton John too much. We may learn to play the piano. Megan says, say go around the house singing Benny Benny. Oh, that's right. She did say he loves Elton John songs. So there you go. Maybe Uncle Elton is teaching him the piano. So anyways, I'm gonna jump in and I'll come back to the chat in a bit. Let's see. There are a couple of things that hang on one second. Let's just get this out of here. Couple of things that I thought that the points from the last three episodes, and one of the things is Meghan's miscarriage and talking about it. And I'm glad because it's even with this, because I think the whole thing with around her miscarriage and what really put her in stress is when Jason Knopf, they decided that they're gonna give the mail Meghan's information, and because the mail was like, oh yeah, Jason Knopf and other people at the palace have this information that they're gonna be introducing, and so that sort of thing kind of set off all of this chain of events where Meghan was at and that had to do with finding freedom. It had to do with the exposing the people who took part in the Meghan's friends who took part in the People's interview, and so she's desperately trying to protect her friends, and all of that was happening, which basically led to her miscarriage, because the Daily Mail, she had already won the case, she had already won it, and they just introduce all of this stuff and try to muddy it up. And then she is desperately trying to protect her friends. And here we go. Her baby then becomes, obviously she had a miscarriage, but this is what she and Jenny Afia were talking about, what happened with the miscarriage, and also Archie. So people, and thank you people for writing this out, I didn't have to do it myself, says Afia, who's Jenny Afia, Meghan's lawyer, says Afia added that Meghan was pregnant yet not sleeping as a result of the pressure she felt as the couple moved into their new home in Montecito, California. The first morning that we woke up in our new home is when I miscarried, said Meghan. And Harry says, I believe my wife suffered a miscarriage because of what the male did. He added Harry. I watched the whole thing. Now do we absolutely know that the miscarriage was created? Of course not. Of course we don't, he added, about the lack of scientific evidence of a causal link between the events, but bearing in mind the stress that caused the lack of sleep and the timing of the pregnancy, how many weeks she was, I can say from what I saw that the miscarriage was created by what they were trying to do to her. I thought she was brave and courageous, but that doesn't surprise me because she's brave and courageous, and that's her mom was saying that. And so they are basically putting this right at the feet of the Daily Mail and all of those reporters who were not only is that happening with the Daily Mail putting pressure on her, and her trying to protect her friends, at the same time, all those articles that are, they're just like pumping out articles about her. And so all of that stuff. And so I'm glad that they put that at their feet. That deserves to, I mean, if it was me, Adelaide, on Prince William and Jason North's feet as well. But, I'm glad they put it right there so that people understand what the Daily Mail have done. It's like, because of what they've done, and of course, like you say, they don't have the science to say, okay, yes, the Daily Mail is guilty of, you know what I mean? But because of that, it put her under so much pressure that she lost her pregnancy. And so it just, I'm telling you, those reporters and those people at the Daily Mail have a lot to answer for. They really, really have a lot to answer for. But I'm really glad that they talked about that. And because also I know like a lot of people like Meghan haters were like, calling her a liar when she wrote that article. What is it? The Loss We Share, I think it was called, for the I think it was the New York Times. The Losses We Share, I think it was called. They were calling her a liar, that she didn't have a miscarriage and all of this stuff that was happening. And it's just amazing the kind of vitriol this woman is sharing about her loss. And people are attacking her like she's lying, that she didn't have a miscarriage, she's faking, and all of those things. Unbelievable. Another thing, obviously, we were talking about the Sandringham, the showdown in Sandringham, and we all remember watching this play out in real time. That all the reporters were hanging out at Sandringham, and there are videos of Harry driving in, and Prince Charles and William driving to see the Queen at Sandringham, and they were going to have this meeting. And this is one of and I don't even know which outlet this is actually, but I ran into it today, and I was like, okay, let's do it. So I didn't know who to credit. I will credit them after. But it's showdown to Sandringham. Queen, Harry, Charles, and William to trash out split deal with Meghan on the phone. So they were all saying like Meghan is going to be on the phone, and so she is going to be, there, and they're going to be working out a deal, And that was the narrative at the time, that she was gonna, because Meghan had, as she said, Archie was back in Canada, so she had to, the minute they left their final engagement, she basically has, pull off her clothes, jump into a car, race to the airport to catch her flight back to Canada. And so Harry is there by himself. And so they were going to do that. And apparently Meghan was going to be on the phone and they were going to all work it out together. So it was very interesting when Harry, talk about this. First of all, scheduling because again, what they were saying is that Meghan was going to be there, and Harry talking about trying to schedule this with the private secretaries of then Prince Charles and the Queen, Harry, and I guess and William's private secretary as well. Harry says, I sent an email to the three most senior private secretaries saying, let's get together and have a meeting. Let's talk about this, because what was playing out in public was crazy. The meeting was rejected. So Meghan jumped in and she says, after the announcement, I had to get back because Archie was in Canada. And then Harry said, it was only once Meg had left and gone back to Canada that it was then arranged that there was going to be a meeting at Sandringham the following Monday. And Meghan says, imagine a conversation, a roundtable discussion about the future of your life when the stakes are this high and you are the mom and wife and the target of, in many regards, aren't invited to have a seat at the table. And Harry says, it was clear to me that they planned it so that you weren't in the room. And I'm so glad Harry called this out. I mean, talk about misogyny. Hello. They literally turned down Harry. They wouldn't schedule a meeting with him while Meghan was there. But the moment she went back to Canada, they scheduled a meeting, And then obviously the press was like, oh no, Meghan is going to be calling in, Nope, no calling. They sat there scheduling scheduling Meghan's life and, and deciding her life, and did it in a way that so she's not in the room, so she doesn't have a voice. And I guess this is again they're claiming like, oh, the royal family coming into, and it's like, yeah, there is your opportunity to have another woman at the table, a woman who's really this all affects in such a huge way, and you do everything in your power to not have her at the table. And I think, as Harry was like, yeah, no, it was deliberate. They didn't want you at the table. And, again, it's like they wanted Harry. They wanted him alone. They wanted, I'm sure at that time, probably to convince him to leave his wife, stay with them, don't do this, whatever, I'm telling you, when you're trying to, if you're, you're a cult and you're trying to get someone on your side or get, control someone, what better way to do it is, than to get them alone, because that way you have a lot better chance of convincing them to do what you want them to do. And so goodness knows, what they had planned for Harry. And so Harry went on to talk a little bit about the summit, and he said, and thank you, Sully Vici, for this. And they have the most comprehensive of the quotes. So I was like, I don't usually use them, but thank you for having the quote there. Harry says, it was terrifying to have your brother scream, and to have my brother scream and shout at me, and my father say things that simply weren't true, and my grandmother, quietly sit there and sort of take it all in. But you have to understand that from the family's perspective, especially from hers, there's always there are ways of doing things, and her ultimate sort of mission, goal / responsibility is the institution. People around her telling her that proposal, these two doing X, Y, and Z is going to be seen as an attack on the institution. Then she's going to go on the advice that she's given. And it was really hard. The meeting finished without any solidified plan. I think from their perspective, they had to believe that it would be more about us and maybe the issue that we had, as opposed to their partner, the media, and themselves, and the relationship that's causing us so much pain. They saw what they wanted to see. And he said the saddest part of it was this wedge created between myself and my brother, so that he is now on the institution side. Part of that I get. I understand that's his inheritance. To some extent, it's already ingrained in him that the part of his responsibility is the survivability and the continuation of the institution. And it is, I mean, again, how subtle he said it. He was able to say it. Again, no attack or anything, just a statement of fact. William sat there screaming and shouting at him. I mean, I don't think any of us are shocked to hear this, because as we've been talking about forever, William is the incandescent one. He is the screaming and shouting is how William is always described. You know, they always want to say like, no, 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 William is level-headed. Like he's the one that, took his, not took it well, but he is the one that has worked through his issues. And he is, very much not, he doesn't wear his emotions on his sleeve as Harry does and all of those things. Yet this is who we see of William all the time. Always screaming, always shouting at someone. And as Harry described it, his father saying things weren't true. And I can only imagine what Charles was saying. If I would have guessed, was the untrue stuff about Meghan. If I would have guessed. And then Queen Betty, who the people are always like, oh, you're disrespecting Queen Betty and you're disrespecting Queen Betty. I wouldn't assume this little scenario would be very respectful of you're in front of the Queen. And you feel like it's okay to be screaming and shouting at your brother right in front of the Queen and in front of your father, the heir to the throne. And yet there was William, and Harry at the end saying, the saddest part was the wedge that all created between him and, that not just the summit, but the whole thing created between him and William. But that, as we've seen, William is about the institution. That's his first priority. That's who, if anything happens, his first priority is, let me protect the institution. Never mind your feelings, never mind your emotions. Let me protect the institution. And very, 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 and again, I love the way how Harry just said it. Statement of fact. And there's nothing to there's nothing to come up against. He's just said it. And we all saw this. We saw this in 2020 when Valentine Lowe, remember Valentine Lowe, the very reporter that is the one that Kensington Palace, William and Jason Knopf leaked those fake bullying charges to. That's the one in 2020. I'm sure, if you didn't know this or remember this, there was this article that came out right around that time, when just before Sandringham, or just, I think a couple of days or something like that. Actually, I think it was the same day of Sandringham, actually, that it came out that William was bullying Harry and Meghan, or at least Harry and Meghan felt they were being pushed out and they were bullied out by William. So this article came out from Valentine Lowe, again, same reporter, that that Jason Knopf and William leaked those fake bullying charges to. And so this is part of what the article, now I'm going to put the link in the show notes so you can read it, because Valentine Lowe tries to two sides it. But this is the part of it. Princess fell out because William wasn't friendly to Meghan. That headline changed from, I don't remember what it was, but I think it said something like bullying in the front, but I think that headline changed. So a little bit from the article, it says the Duke and Duchess of Sussex regard themselves as having been pushed away from the royal family by the bullying attitude of his brother, the Duke of Cambridge. The Times understands. And then you can read the whole article. But basically is, again, as it says, Harry and Meghan felt, according to the article, Harry and Meghan felt that they were bullied by William. And again, hearing Harry describe him screaming and yelling at him in front of the Queen, it's not hard to imagine, And so when that happened, a few hours later, as Harry said, there's this big new press release came out from Kensington Palace. And so this is one from BBC, but all, American press, British press, all of them were reporting on this. Harry and William deny offensive bullying claims. The Duke of Sussex and the Duke of Cambridge have denied false claims at their relationship being damaged by bullying. A statement by Princess Harry and William described their newspaper story as inflammatory and offensive. The Times quoted a source saying the Sussexes felt that they were pushed out and constantly bullied by William. It came as the brothers and the Queen and the Prince of Wales met to discuss Harry and Meghan's future. Again, this is all happening the same day. And so I remember when this happened, nobody in the squad believed this nonsense. That was the whole thing going around. I mean, there's literally a photo, and I have to, I think they were trying to find it. Someone had put a photo of Prince William, because we figured he signed that right away. We're like, there is no way Harry had anything to do with putting his name to that statement. No way. Again, for us who've been following this, daily, hourly, whatever, that was very, very clear this statement was fake. Very, very clear. And so even Scobie referred to this whole statement. I think it was like a year ago, he wrote about this being a lie. And so I just didn't think, we'd hear about it again. So I was so happy that Harry brought it up. And this is the roundabout way they introduced the bullying claims. And so Harry says that day, the same day of the Sandringham summit, that day a story came out that part of the reason why Meghan and I were leaving was because William had bullied us out. Once I got into the car after the meeting, I was told about a joint statement that had been put out in my name and my brother's name, squashing the story about him bullying us out of the family. No one asked me permission to put my name on to a statement like that. I rang M and I told her, and she burst into a flood of tears. Within 4 hours, they were happy to lie to protect my brother. And yet for 3 years, they were never willing to tell the truth to protect us. There was no other option at this point. I said, we need to get out of here. And so it just, again, shows that's when Harry was like, okay, I'm done. I am so done. And I am so glad this is for them introducing this, because again, this is the root of the bullying story. And they talked about, I think it was episode 1, where they were talking about swapping stories, how they, the palace would swap stories. Oh, Meghan was talking about swapping stories, like, you see something in the paper and, all of a sudden in real time, you'll see them pull it, but they have real estate there and they need to swap it out. They need to swap something. So they pull the negative from, the ones that are higher up and swap it out for something, a really horrible article or lying, whatever article for someone lower than them, which again, using her as a scapegoat. And this is exactly what they did again. This story started with the same reporter, Valentine Lowe, reporting about William being a bully. And all of a sudden, before the Oprah interview, the same Valentine Lowe, they swapped that, and all of a sudden, it's no longer William is the bully. They swapped that, and now Meghan is the bully. And it's just like, and so I am so happy that Harry and Meghan reintroduced this, because this is the root of that bullying story. It's a swap that they did, because the root of it is Prince William is the one that was being the bully. And again, that same character. And it is just so sick. And again, I'm glad how Harry and Meghan introduced that statement. It's like facts. This is what it is. This is what it is. And I would assume, they've already said that they're not going to comment. What are they going to say? What are they going to say? We saw this play out in real time. I'm telling you, no squatty was shocked when Harry said this, because we knew we literally had pictures of William's signing that statement in the right hand, and him signing in for himself in the right hand, and a picture of him signing in his left hand for Harry. Literally, squaddies did a whole mock-up of this, because nobody bought that Harry had anything to do with saying that no, William didn't bully us, because we saw the bullying in real time. So I am just so happy that Harry did that, and the way how it was very clever how they did that to show the root of where that bullying accusation came from. And so I love that. And this was, and again, William is not Princess Diana. He is Charles. He is Charles. Harry says, William and I both saw what happened in our dad, King Charles III's office. And we made an agreement that we would never let that happen in our office, Harry said. Prince Harry went on to say he would rather be destroyed in the press than play along with this game or this business of trading stories. To see my brother's office copy the very same thing that we promised the two of us would never ever do. That was heartbreaking, he added. Prince Harry also said that there was the wedge created between himself and his brother. So he is now on the institution side. Part of that I get, and it's a repeat of what he had said earlier. It is his inheritance to some extent, and he already ingrained in him, etc., etc., etc. But again, it is this is something that, which is when William did that to his mother, when he called his mother, basically called her paranoid. And we were like, that was why that was so shocking to me, because I expected anything from William. That I didn't expect. And it shocked me. And it's the only thing that has ever shocked me with William before. Why? Because William was there when this was happening to his mother. He saw, so much more than Harry, because Harry was so much younger. A couple of years younger. So, he wasn't as aware as William about what his mother went through, watching his father brief against his mother. Use the press, use authors to label his mother unstable and all of those things. That's why Harry's like, we promise. And they saw Prince Charles. Prince Charles did it to them. Prince Charles, King Charles now used him and William to get good press. He threw them both under the bus to get good press. So for Harry, making that pledge with William's like, no, that will never happen. We're not going to be briefing against each other. We're not going to be trading stories. We're not going to be flipping stories. None of those things. We're never going to do that. Because they saw how much it affect them and also affect their mother. And that's why it's like, it is heartbreaking to see that William has gone and done the exact same thing. And again, I love, facts. This is what he's done. Every single, it's so funny with reporters yesterday online, especially like Rebecca English and those guys, like, no, there's no briefing, there's no leaking from Kensington Palace. And there are literally hundreds of receipts floating now. Sending back and forth, all over Twitter, with the palace leaking, and just about everyone putting all of it at Kensington Palace. Just about all 90% of the leaking coming from Kensington Palace. And so I am so happy to see Harry just call it out. He's like, yeah, this is what William has been doing. He has been leaking information, trading information, doing all the stuff that we said we were never going to do. And he's doing exactly what they were doing at my father's office. And so I am so happy to see how he just calmly just laid it out. So, yeah. And this little thing we talked about, this is one of the reasons Chris Ship blocked me, was because when Jason Knopf leaked all that information off to the Mail on Sunday, leaking Harry and Meghan's email and Meghan's private text to the Mail on Sunday, and also Ted Verity, the Mail on Sunday editor, saying, in a court statement, saying, no, I met with a senior palace official, and they passed information on to me about Meghan, and so with all of that, I am just like, oh my gosh. What? Mm. I think for me, I think because we just saw that whole thing play out, it was, I, I don't think it was say jarring, but I think it was so satisfying to hear it coming from Jenny Afia and to hear it coming from Harry and Meghan and to know that we weren't crazy, to know that we saw it and it's factual. It's what we saw was the facts. And again, is one of the reasons Chris Ship he blocked me, because one of the things that is, Harry, when they were having this conversation in the apartment with Mandana Dayani, was when when it came out that uh Jason had passed the information on to the Daily Mail, and how the press was reporting it is that they were hiding Jason's connection with Prince William. They kept calling Jason Harry and Meghan's press secretary or whatever they're calling. They were hiding his connection with Prince William. And that's what that frustration is when Meghan is like, it's your brother. I'm not going to say anything, but it's your brother. And, and so that's one of the things I was calling out with Chris Ship. It's like, why aren't you saying that, Jason Knopf, he could not pass any of that information onto the Daily Mail without Prince William's express approval, because that stuff, it belongs to the Crown. It doesn't belong to Jason Knopf, And so the idea that the press, they're just saying, oh yeah, he was a former, press secretary for the, our comm secretary for Harry and Meghan, and all of them refusing to associate Prince William with it. So this is why I was so happy. And they were having the same conversation and the frustration I had with Chris Ship. And then after a while, he just blocked me because I kept calling him out on it. And so, yeah, so news.com AU that I never use because they're horrible, but they had they had it typed out. So I was like, okay, I'll use it. It says, Meghan says, it's your brother. I'm not going to say anything about your brother, but it's so obvious. Meghan said, is seen saying in a huff. Harry added, what's even more obvious is the fact that they're trying to cover that up. Again, Jason, the former aide of Harry and Meghan, that's how the press keeps saying, the former aide of Harry and Meghan, he said, referring to the fact that there had been no mention of the aide's connection to William. And so Harry is saying, that's why I'm now living in a new country. This is the contract, the symbiotic relationship between the two institutions working the best way they can, he fumed, referencing to the previous explanation that the royals and the British press have a close working relationship. Yeah, what it is they were doing is hiding William's relationship with it. I think that I only saw one outlet with a British royal reporter, and that was Newsweek, that called out the fact that William is connected with Jason Knopf, and that William had to approve of Jason doing this, or Jason couldn't do it. And so I am glad that they point this out, that, yes, it is William. I mean, the guy is still working for William. After Harry and Meghan left in the Oprah interview, he had left, and now he's back. William hired him back, and now he is with Earthshot. And he was even in Boston with Earthshot. And so, and that is the thing, the press once again hiding stuff for William. And so I am glad they pointed this out, and I was, of course, I don't want Meghan to be frustrated, but I am glad we saw her frustration with it. And Harry's like, you know what? That's why I live in another country, because that is the press, once again, the invisible contract, hiding Prince William's mess, and just only linking Jason back to Harry and Meghan. Why isn't this big news that Prince William approved of Jason Knopf leaking his brother's private email and Meghan's private emails and texts? And again, and I'm glad Jenny Afia pointed out the thing that the way they leaked it, they edited their texts and they edited the emails to make it look like Meghan was lying. And I'm glad she pointed out it is false. It is false. It was edited, and they edited in such a way to make it look like that. because you don't know the context of the conversation they're having. And then what's end up being really weird is, I guess they were so focused on editing parts to make her look bad that they didn't notice that some parts they left in actually made Meghan's case for her. And that's why Meghan was saying if she had remembered those emails, she would have used it because it actually backed up her case. Because part of the email was saying that, or I'm sorry, the text was saying that, no, I don't even want Samantha to, to read this because it's private. Because part of the Daily Mail was saying, no, she wrote it and expected it to be public. And the private text that they leaked backed up Meghan, and the judge, as we know, threw out, and, as irrelevant, anything that came from Kensington Palace. And I'm glad Jenny Afia put it in there. She said it was irrelevant. Nobody asked for it other than the Daily Mail. And the reason that Kensington Palace did that was to damage Meghan's reputation. That's why they put it in there. And so I'm really happy that Jenny Afia said. So I hope, we really advertise that, as opposed to, the British press will try to distract from that. But I hope that, I'm definitely going to be talking a lot about that. So that way it's connected to Prince William, because the narrative is always that, oh, Prince William can't trust Prince Harry because he's leaking information. He's talking about him. He's talking about their relationship. And nobody is speaking the truth that, no, Prince William is the one that not only he leaked it, he gave Prince Harry's private email. He gave Meghan's private email and text to a tabloid, the very tabloid that she is suing to help them to win. And thank God Meghan ended up, the judge tossed it out and Meghan ended up winning. But it's just like, that needs to be the story. This is, again, narcissistic people. Narcissistic behavior is you turn the victim into the aggressor and the aggressor into the victim. So how they're painting William is, oh, William is so sad and he's so hurt and he's so upset. How could he ever trust Harry, the aggressor? And how could he ever trust Meghan? Meanwhile, he's the one that's been abusing. He's the one that's been bullying them. And so, so squaddies are on this. Definitely on this. So this is good. And then Jason Knapp had the absolute nerve, gall, and audacity. Of course, Netflix, of course, they have their legal team will send this to them for a statement, as they would all do. And Jason Knapp is like, in response to the allegations, Mr. Knopf submitted a voluntary, in response to the allegations that Mr. Knopf submitted a voluntary witness statement in connection with the Daily Mail's litigation. With the consent of Prince William's office, a representative for Mr. Knopf sent the following statement. These claims are entirely false, Mr. Knopf said, these claims were entirely false. Mr. Knopf was asked to provide evidence by both the Duchess of Sussex and Associated Newspaper. He was advised by counsel that evidence in his possession could be relevant, and he then provided this directly to the court, staying neutral in the process. Liar! I mean, why would Meghan's lawyer want you to provide evidence? I mean, if you're gonna lie, why would you? I mean, this is so stupid. Why would Meghan's lawyer want you to provide evidence? It's just like the stupidest response I've ever seen. But I'm so happy with Meghan's attorney. They responded. Duchess of Sussex attorney responded with the following statement. The legal team for Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, dispute this claim. Mr. Knopf was not asked to provide a witness statement by the Duchess or her team, nor do her attorney believe Mr. Knopf remained neutral by submitting a witness statement relied on by the Associated Newspaper while working for the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. And I'm so glad they put it down like slap. That is just like this. I mean, hello. If you're going to lie, at least come up with a better lie than Meghan and her team asking you to provide hello. That's about the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And so I'm glad that Meghan's team just slapped them. It's like stupid. Anyways, that was a lot. I'm just gonna jump in the chat to see what you guys are saying in there, and yeah, we'll stay in here for a bit. So, let's see. Annie says, yeah, oh, she's talking to, yeah, to Nash. I'm always hesitant to comment in the chat because I don't know how it will be received. Say what you want, Annie. It's not, just don't cuss, but say what you want. You're fine. You're in a safe place. That's fine. My only thing is no cussing. That is it. But other than that, and no, no trolling, obviously. You're not going to be trolling in here. So there you go. Gracie says, interesting that William is trying to be a hero during Walkabout. No wonder Meghan looks so afraid on the Walkabout during the burial. Yeah, hello. Meghan just did not look like herself at all. She did not, and for so many reasons, not the least of which I'm sure is security, William trying to sort of be a gentleman, knowing, talk about deceitful, knowing how you threw your brother and sister-in-law under the bus, and he just, trying to act like he is all. And in a way, it's like, Harry and Meghan sort of went along with it, and they try to put that stuff out of their mind and go along and meet people and greet people. But I can't imagine how difficult it is, to be around people who would throw you to the wolves in a second to protect themselves. It's unbelievable. Talk about den of snakes, den of vipers. Let's see. Kim Coates said, she's talking to Connie Bomber. I hope they don't, that both don't go to the coronation. They are a team, and Charles doesn't deserve it. I hope they stay away as well. Who knows? Again, they went to Queen Betty's Jubilee and all of that stuff. So, who knows? Depending, whatever Harry has in his book. And it's so funny, the docuseries came out and I keep forgetting the book. I was like, oh yeah, the book. So I am assuming Harry has held back because, again, he really hasn't spoken about Prince Charles at all in this docuseries. I mentioned him like probably once, just that, he was part of the Sandringham summit, and I don't remember him mentioning anything else about Prince Charles at all. And so I would assume that that's probably, because his book is going to be talking about Prince Charles, or King Charles, I should say now, and William. So it'll be very interesting. Nash, thank you so much for your super sticker. I appreciate it. I so appreciate it. Let's see. Fatima says, wow, I'm shocked about what I'm hearing from your podcast. What are you hearing? What are you shocked about? Please do share. Please do share what you're shocked about, Fatima. I hope you had an opportunity to, watch the series. So yeah, but do share what you're shocked about. Emerald says, Connie, she's talking to Connie. I'm with you on that, but we know if Harry is going to the coronation, most likely Meghan will go to supporting, of course. And King Charles is petty, so but again, going by this, just the series, I don't see him doing it because it'll just come across petty. But Prince Charles is petty. What I think, if anything, he'll invite them and then try and do what he did during the funeral, try to find ways to embarrass them, and in that whole that whole game they play there, trying to embarrass them and all of that stuff. I wouldn't be surprised because that's just who they are. That's what they do. And so I could see that happening. Again, I would hope that they stay away myself. But again, they went to Jubilee, so but even with that, they had more of a close relationship with the Queen, so they went for the Queen. So who knows? B10 Powell says, Connie Bama, everybody's talking to Connie. I fear for Prince Harry's safety too, my friend. Yep, I do as well. And so, again, hopefully by then, their security stuff would have, worked out. Hopefully the Ravek and all of those people involved would, at least the judge would fast track his security issues, so that if he is going, that is taken care of before then. At least I would hope. Let's see. Melissa says, I wonder though if Willie Leaks broke the promise of trading stories to protect the institution or to protect himself, because the press knows all about all his shady things he does in private. Yeah, they seem to have a lot on him, they seem to have a lot, both him and Prince Charles or King Charles. So yeah, I think it could be both. I think it's both. And the press definitely hint at a lot of it. And so, especially, that flower girl. So, yeah. Because, him and Kate, they have to come across as these perfect beings. And I don't even know why you would even want to do that. Like, why would you even want to uphold that? Like you're this perfect. And it's like, everybody knows you're not perfect. Wouldn't it just be more better? Wouldn't it just be better to just be like, okay, can we just take off that thing where I need to be perfect and I just be human, please? And it's so ridiculous that they're supposed to be perfect and it's like nothing about you is perfect. So unbelievable. Beacon Bow says, I cannot begin to comprehend the grief and fear Meghan have gone through. Gosh, I'm telling you, isn't it amazing when they showed when they were in Canada, when they had pulled their security just before Tyler got them, they literally had no plans. They were stuck at the house, paparazzi outside, and they didn't have a plan of what to do and how to do it, and it's just like, oh my goodness, and so it's funny that people were like, no, you had all these deals and all of this stuff, and it's like, no, they didn't have a plan. Meghan was like, we'll stay at your house for a week and then we'll figure. And he's like, no, you can stay there, as long as you need until you figure out something. I'm telling you, Tyler he's an angel from the Lord, absolute angel from the Lord. Jessica says, Tyler and Dory are just so beautiful in their hearts. I pray God bless them eternally. Yeah, my prayer, I'll add to that prayer as well, Jessica. They are beautiful, beautiful people. It's amazing. And it was also sad too when Daria was talking about, Meghan telling her about just, suicidal ideations. It's just, she couldn't even go on. She's just crying. And her friend the same way. And it just, yeah. Oh, very, very sad. Gracie says, when one is consumed with jealousy, it is hard to tell what they will do. Remember, Harry said they will never believe a ginger will get smart and beautiful woman. He did say that, didn't he? He definitely did say it's a lot of jealousy. He definitely did say. And the royal family would not want to admit that part of why they are, been attacking Harry and Meghan is that jealousy. They don't want to admit that. I guess that's embarrassing. They do not want to admit it, Jessica's like, she's emotional over Tyler being Lily's godfather. I wonder who the others are. It's very interesting. I could totally see Oprah. I could totally see Ellen. I don't know. And their other friends. It's just very interesting. But yes, let's see. And says William and Charles will be like King George the Fifth. Will do anything to protect the monarchy as was done Tsar Nicholas. H&M must be doubly careful going forward. These people do not have feelings. I'm telling you, there's a coldness to the royal institution. Remember how Harry talked about when they went to the Commonwealth service that he hadn't seen them. It was the first time he'd seen them, and that it was just cold, and he felt cold. And that's exactly. It's so wild that we all knew. I mean, it was hard to miss the coldness, but it's like squatties, we called that out right away. It's like that, just the coldness that's beamed around the world. And it was just as Harry and Meghan felt it, the coldness. Unbelievable. Um, let's see. Kim says, I'm still stuck on Meghan defending Charles about pulling their security, telling Harry, oh no, they would never do that. Death threats and all, yes, they did that. You know, I think it's her nature and our nature to want to believe the best in people, that someone wouldn't be that cold-hearted. And Meghan is always that she's always that person that wants to believe that, you know what I mean, that we're good people. And you know, who would think that a father would pull security from their own child when they're getting death threats? I mean, hello. You know, I wouldn't, that would be something I would never think somebody would do, especially a father. And so, I mean, I could understand. I totally hear you. I totally hear you, Kim. But I mean, I could understand thinking that, you know, yeah. Let's see. Linnea says there are at least 100 hate channels that need to go, but I really want them to lose money they made off H&M. Yeah, they need to demonetize them, and a lot of them will go down because if if they're not making money off of them, they're not going to want to do it. They're only doing it because they're making money. So yeah, they really do need to go away. And so hopefully, as Chris Boozy continue to push it and call out YouTube, and again, we're on the same platform, but the more he calls it out, and more people, more and more news organizations write about it and putting out there, and hopefully that shames YouTube into changing and getting rid of the hate. So yeah. Let's see. Joy says Harry and Meghan have several angels, and Diana is one of them on this journey. Tyler is one of the angels. He sure is. They both are. Absolutely. Absolute angels. Like sort of stepped in the gap for them there. Absolutely. And let's see. Sonia says, Pedal, you've gone and done it again. Make me cry. Yes, indeed. Tyler is an angel sent from God. Well, I'm sorry, Sonia. I didn't mean to make you cry. I was just reading or saying what they did. And so, but yeah, he is definitely an angel. So many men and women he has, just really stood in the gap to support and love and to just meet the need wherever there is one. And I'm just like, Lord, thank you for Tyler Perry. Let's see. Anne says William and Charles would be. Oh wait, I think I read this before. Sorry, Anne, I think I read this one before. Let's see. Maria says, I think Harry has been light on King Chuck because he realizes that William is likely soon to take his venom on Charles and his reign. In my honest opinion, William truly hates Charles for many reasons. Yeah, who knows? They keep saying that their relationship is now a lot more tight. I mean, we know that they had a really horrible relationship before, and Harry was closer to Charles than William, and apparently they're now working together and enjoying each other's company and all that stuff, which can all be a lie because we know the British press needs to sell that to gullible people. And so who knows what's going on there. But I think again, his book is coming out, so I would assume it would be Charles Heavy. And apparently, and I don't know this for a fact, but what I read is the man who was the ghostwriter for it, his books are really heavy on father-son relationships, apparently. So that's why I'm thinking that maybe that's where it's going to be Charles. The book is going to be Charles and William Heavy, because again, that's his family. And so, yeah, so I, maybe they made a conscious choice to not do it so much on this, and then have it, be in the book. Who knows? Who knows? So, yeah. And two, you want to leave some stuff for the book. So, let's see. Kim says, after what Harry and Meghan have exposed, I hope that William does sit down for, for an interview. We need his lies and gaslighting on the record. I would only say yes to that if there was a reporter that's willing to challenge him. As it is, British reporters won't. They simply won't do it unless you have like an investigative reporter that is not a royalist, which a lot of them are. You'll just gaslight us, so I would love to see this only if there is an investigative journalist there that is not going to be bought, one that could speak truth to power and hold William accountable and ask him the tough questions, and expect an answer and prod and probe until he answers, and not just, take some pat answers or, some sound bite. Ask someone who can ask probing questions. So that's what maybe an Emily Mitlis who did the Prince Andrew one. I haven't really kept up with her, so I'm assuming she continues to be an investigative journalist. So yeah, or a nosy American, a nosy American actual journalist like Rachel Maddow or something in that vein, who I know would ask the question. So yeah. Let's see. Oh, Mary, I'm glad I'm explaining it. I always hope, like, I'm a little long-winded sometimes. So I actually just hope that that I explain it well, that you're able to understand what I'm trying to say. So I'm glad you understood what I was trying to say. So that's good. That's good. Thank you. Let's see. Cynthia says, but when someone is a free spirit, is free spirited, you hardly want to believe a person's word. One tends to give the person the benefit of a doubt. And the untruthfulness always comes back to haunt them. Yeah, and Meghan is a free spirit, and so always is like, you give the person's benefit of a doubt. It's so funny. I'm like such the opposite of that. I think I need to become a free spirit, because my tendency is always like, let me what did you just say? Let me go investigate what you said. I just don't believe, or I don't believe easily. So and so I don't, maybe I need to learn a little bit, get to a little bit more of that, giving people benefit of a doubt. But a lot of times I'm like, and the one time I'm like, okay, let's just abandon that. I got burned. So, I'm gone back to being suspicious about everything. Ellen says, in my opinion, Chuck and Willie will get along until after the coronation. Chuck really wants that crown. I never heard him called Chuck before. Thank you, Alan, for the laugh. So yes, Chuck, who is using, Charles II crown. Charles II, who is very heavily involved in the slave trade. And that's the crown. He's just like, these people, self-awareness is just, I'm like, goodness, grievances. And nobody is calling it out. Nobody is calling him out for wearing that crown. I mean, hello. And again, that's why I'm like, these people just don't care. They really, really just don't care. There's a huge race issue going on in in Buckingham Palace. People are calling them out left and right, and yet he's wearing a crown from Charles II. Guy heavily involved in the slave trade. It's just like, oh gosh. You just, oh, it's so tiring. Let's see. I'm just gonna scroll down a bit. Maria says, if William does do an interview, maybe he will set himself on fire like Prince Andrew did by refuting all the people's maybe evidence. That would be very interesting. That would be very interesting. I don't see him doing it. I don't see, I mean, I could be wrong. I don't see him doing what is he gonna do? Harry was an eyewitness to all the things that he spoke about. He was an eyewitness to Sandringham. He knows what happens there. He was an eyewitness. He, obviously we know, that he did not approve. I mean, we knew that he did not approve. One, because we didn't believe. Two, because Omid had written about that last year. At the same time, he wrote about the Kate made Meghan made Kate cry nonsense, and Meghan trying to get them to correct it, which they didn't. So we all knew this was happening. And so for me, it's just good to hear Harry confirmed what we've been saying for 2 years. So yeah. Let's see. And it's so funny. Sussex Squad podcast is on Twitter, and they're active today. Like, yep, see, I mean, everything that they were screaming about and calling out, and people were calling them, liars, and they're crazy, whatever. Just about everything Sussex Squad was been pointing out from day one is exactly what we see, exactly what happened, and so it's really been good to see, like, we have been correct the whole time. Yeah. Let's see. Madwell says, I don't expect H&M to tell everything. If it wasn't for the media telling constant lies, they probably wouldn't have put this docuseries out. Their Harry Meghan are very kind-hearted people. Yeah, no, we would not have seen any of this stuff, I am actually surprised at the amount of photos and stuff, videos that we got of the kids. I didn't expect that, but it's very clear that they're not against having their kids in, say, public or whatever, not in the sense, not public, but they're not opposed to sharing their family with us at all. They just don't want people invading their privacy. Let them share it when they want to share it, and they're very happy to do it. I mean, this docu-series is proof enough. They're happy to share. They don't mind. They don't want to hold themselves up and be monks. They're happy to share their lives. But we just, people just can't go in and invade their privacy, and that's when they shut it down. And so if people just leave them alone and stop trying to, paparazzi around them, whatever, just leave them alone and let them share it when they want to share it. For all the people who has been hounding them, sending reporters to Montecito and all of these things, trying to hound them to get pictures of their kids or whatever, none of them, I'm sure, expected to have this treasure trove and all these beautiful pictures with their family, pictures and videos of their family. Look at, if all you had to do was wait and let them do it, and not try to invade their privacy and not try to control their narrative. All they want to do is to have control of their narrative. We all have control of our own narrative. I don't understand why the British press especially think they are entitled to control somebody else's narrative. Meanwhile, when you go after them when they do something, they block you because they don't want to come invading on their space. But they feel perfectly fine doing it to somebody else. So it's amazing to me. Let's see. Oh, okay. Cynthia says, I am very free-spirited, and sometimes my siblings call me naive. But to live life like that makes life less stressful. I can imagine. It's definitely freeing. I need to adopt some more of that. So thank you, Cynthia. I need to adopt some free-spiritedness and not be so like, yeah, and not be so controlling about things. So yeah. Let's see. Paulette says, thank you so. Oh, Paulette, I forgot to click on you. There we go. Thank you so much for very informative information. I enjoy your podcast. Oh, well, good. Thank you. I'm sad about what they did to Harry and Meghan, but two will that too will pass for the Sussexes. God don't like ugly. Just keep praying. Yeah, absolutely. Just keep praying. Again, what happened yesterday with Twitch and all of that stuff. It's difficult. Holidays are difficult, even though Harry is here. And I'm glad he was honest about this. When they asked him if he misses his family, I'm glad he was honest. Like, yeah, I miss my country. I miss England. I miss my friends. He even admitted that he lost some friends along the way. And I'm glad he admitted that he's not pretending like, no, everything is great, it's fine, I'm just happy and bliss, and I don't have any regrets, and I don't have any, I don't miss it. I am so happy that he's honest. And that is the kind of thing you want. I mean, it's impossible for him not to miss. I mean, England is, even though sometimes he didn't like it sometimes, like he said, sometimes I don't really like England. He even said that. But that's his home. And so I'm glad that he's honest and said, no, I miss home. He even said, yeah, I miss family events. I miss those, some togetherness. That is honesty. And I'm glad he was able to say that, because it's impossible to not. This is what you've been raised with your entire life. There are friends and family there that he's close with, like, Zara and Eugenie, and maybe a little less Beatrice, and, whatever. I wouldn't be surprised if he's, even though he is at loggerheads with his brother, even though his brother has done so much horrible things to him, I am sure he misses his brother, because it's his brother. And though he didn't go into that, and his father, and he didn't say that during when he was asked during the Invictus at The Hague, I would be surprised if he doesn't miss them. Who wouldn't? Even though they're horrible. Even though they're horrible, it doesn't mean you don't still love the person and miss what you had in the past. Yes, you gotta love them from afar because they're just horrible. But I think it's so important to admit to those things, and so that way you're not pretending and pretending you're all happy and all of those things, when deep inside those things are hurting. And I think that's where why I was so rooting for him to do a mental health podcast, because he is so honest. And I think it will help so many men, especially, to be able to be honest with where they are and not pretend. So I'm glad he said it. I'm glad he was able to say that and be honest with where he is. So yeah. Oh, okay, Rory. We'll catch you on the replay. Thanks for listening. Let's see. Michelle says, maybe all the booze that William have been receiving at every sporting event he is attending is Diana sending him a sign that she isn't pleased with how he is treating Harry and Meghan. Hopefully. Will he listen? Probably not. Narcissists, they know everything. So there you go. But yeah, he has been, I mean, goodness. And Charles has been getting, people throwing eggs. I mean, if that's what you're getting in your own country, it's, I wouldn't want to be you, so there you go. Let's see. Oro says, hi, Squatties, pedal mods. I just finished watching the series. I'm so relieved to hear M&H tell their story and to know how precise Sussex Squad has been keeping track of everything. Oh my goodness. I'm telling you, we have more receipts than the FBI. The FBI have nothing on the squad. I'm telling you, we could teach them a thing or two. Goodness grievances. We have a stockpile of receipts for just about everything. It's amazing. And I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it that we're not about just, we're not about crazy conspiracy theories. We will pull receipts. And I love it. Oh my goodness. Yesterday was just like I was loaded down with just about every tweet has a receipt attached to it. It was amazing. So yes. Carol says, I'm hoping now that Netflix has seen how well the doc that they will release Pearl. Well, I guess they would need to, continue the production of Pearl. I hope so too, but they got rid of, they didn't just get rid of Pearl. They literally got rid of the majority, probably 90% of the animation department. It's what I understand. They kept, I think, 2 animations, and they slashed the department. So it wasn't just, a couple of shows. The department, their staff went away. And so, hopefully now that they're doing better, maybe. But I wouldn't be surprised if Pearl ended up at Disney or some other animation studio. I wouldn't be surprised. At least I hope, so yeah. Let's see. A couple more before we end. Let's see. Bassani says pictures of their children are current. Well, yes, but it's very funny. The earlier pictures you can see their faces. The later pictures, I think, mostly on the side and the back you can get. So I keep noticing that, even with Archie, you get the side, so you don't get the full frontal. You get the side or the back. And Lily. So when she was smaller, like when they were in the yard, I think Harry was throwing her like a orange or something. I think she was younger then, and or at least by a couple of months. But you know how kids change. It feels like weekly. So that's what I kept noticing, especially with Archie. Maybe not so much with Lily, but the later, or at least to me, what seems later, that we got the back and the side profile. But I still can't get over. Oh, I can't get over this. Oh, Godfather Tyler. So let's see. Rory says, William, Kate, KP, Jason lies are being exposed. Soon, William's affair would be splashed on the front page. It's salacious and juicy, and no Harry to protect him. Karma coming. It's so funny. One of their papers had this in big headlines yesterday. I think it was yesterday, that this affair issue has been coming to the forefront. They're trying to find any excuse to bring this up. So, yeah. So hopefully this docu-series will limit some of the nonsense that's been written about the Sussexes, and then they'll focus on the Cambridges. I don't wish abuse on anybody, even though they have been participating in the abuse of the Sussexes. I don't approve of abuse. I think, even though I'm not here for Kate, I don't approve of her being abused by the press, or even Camilla, even though she did what she did. The fact is, nobody should approve of the British press abusing women. That's the thing. They have been abusing women. It's the misogyny is so sky high in that place that they have been abusing women. And yes, like, okay, yes, we know what Camilla did, and we know, but again, nobody should accept. It's like, okay, she did what she did, whatever, But what they do is, it's not like you put the article out, you call someone out on their bad behavior. Yes, do that. Absolutely. But where you pound someone into where your goal is to destroy that person, that is where it's like, that's a no. Nobody should tolerate that. Nobody should tolerate that in any sense of the word. Call out bad behavior. Absolutely. What she did to Princess Diana absolutely has to be called out. Absolutely has to be like, no, exposed and all of that stuff. Whatever. Kate being lazy and all of that stuff. Yeah, call out the bad behavior. But where you are, doing, especially someone who has done nothing to you, Meghan has done nothing to these people, and they're literally trying to kill her. That is a no. That's when you cease to become journalists. It's not a journalistic to. This is like a protection. It's like a racket. It's like a mafia organization. If I can't control you and whatever else, I'm going to kill you. Nobody should accept that in any sense of the word. And so it just, yeah, the British press has been allowed to get away with this stuff. And that's why this is where it is. Just suing them. I mean, if you look at how much Harry just did that libel suit against them for saying that he's lying, that he was lying, about, saying he was going to pay for security. That thing has now ballooned. The cost of the court case has ballooned to over $300 and something thousand. Who in Britain right now, unless you're filthy rich, can afford that to sue the press? And that's why they've been able to do this stuff like that. Again, call out bad behavior, yes. But what the British press, they're doing, especially the tabloids, they are literally out to destroy people. And nobody should accept that. And again, on a lot of times, women, especially if you're Black and brown women, they are literally out to destroy you. And nobody should tolerate that. And so that's my thing on the British press and that. It's just, it's unbelievable. And I don't know why people aren't. And the sad part about this is a lot of people in the UK agree with the tabloids. They join with the tabloids. I mean, especially when Meghan was suing the Daily Mail, it was shocking to see how many people, and maybe it was just on Twitter, how many people sided with the Daily Mail or the Mail on Sunday against Meghan. It was just like, wow. Unbelievable. Let's see. Couple more before I go. And I keep saying that. Marvel said, oh, thank you, Marvel. I appreciate the super sticker. Thank you so much for your support. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Absolutely. Thank you. Let's see. Dale says, Harry probably was closer to William before his mama died, but once his mama died, I don't believe it was ever as close as that. Yeah, and I would even buy that, after his mom died, that they were close because again, they're going through that trauma together. I would even buy that if that, but after a while, I think it seemed to be more of a manufactured thing, like, oh, the press need to sell that relationship to keep the Diana boys together, than it was Harry and William actually being close. So, but again, that is his brother. So, technically his brother, but we know his brother is Nacho and Prince Ciso. So there. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Do I have anything else? What else do I have here? Hang on. Oh, yes. Look at this, guys. There's a little picture of I think the one on the right is Archie, with Daria in the UK, it looks like, and then that is baby Lily. It's like, oh, it's so cute, so cute. Like, oh, so adorable. Yeah. Wow. And again, I am very surprised at the amount of photos that we got. I mean, they just really was so generous in allowing us to see there. And I was like, in my heart, I'm like, they're doing that for squatties. They know we'd appreciate it. But I just feel like they're just overly generous to us in showing us and allowing us to see their love. And I think overriding for me is that they're just showing us that they're just normal people. They're really just two normal people that they're building a life together. They just want to be happy and free. And, if two people running around in bare feet doesn't tell you, that who they are. I mean, they just really want people to just leave them alone, to just do the thing they want to do. And so, will I think it'll stop? Hopefully. Absolutely. I hope so. I hope people, more and more people, the tabloids are going to be the tabloids. But I hope more and more people start tuning them out. And the more you tune them out, what's going to happen is they're going to lose money, and they're not going to be doing something where they're not making money. So yeah, I hope that people look at that and say, you know what, let's just, enough with the tabloids, let these two people just live. Church Nelly says the docu-series has humanized Harry and Meghan. And a lot of people, I've seen that, especially, well, I'm on Twitter, that's where I follow royal stuff, and that is one of the things that people who are not part of the squad at all, I see a lot of comments like that. It's like, I didn't really care about them or the royals before, but after seeing this documentary, it's just two normal people just want to have just want to live their life. And that's really what people are seeing, is just like, oh, okay, there's nothing, they're not doing anything bad, they're just wanting to live their life in peace and just enjoy their life. So just leave them alone to do that. So yeah. Cynthia says, I remember Harry's UN speech. He said he is perfect human. He said he is perfect human, meaning that he is able to show his emotion, happiness, sadness, sorrow, joy, loneliness, etc. We all go through those emotions. And yeah, he's definitely in touch with his emotions. So absolutely. Let's see. Oh, Grace says, look at what they're doing to Ngozi Fulani. So sad. People need to demonstrate against that. I think that they're trying to make an example of Ngozi. And yeah, we did a whole thing on Ngozi yesterday, and this is so true. And that's why we've been calling on today. Actually, I saw a lot of people been supporting her online more than I had seen in the past couple of days, and more people calling out the Charity Commission, which is good. I'm like, and I kept sharing what I shared with the Charity Commission's boss, that they do have royal links, and it's in their vested interest to make an example of someone like Ngozi, so that nobody else would be, have the audacity to call them out, so yeah. So hopefully more and more people call them out. So yeah. John Newbold says the royals set the dogs on Ngozi in revenge. Strange that out of thousands of charities in the UK, hers is suddenly being investigated. The palace mafia is at it again. Absolutely. And again, the fact that they have left then Prince Charles, they have allowed him to accept 3 million euros in a shopping bag and a suitcase in cash. And they're like, oh, no, he's okay. We'll just trust the charity, know what they were doing, and they're on the up and up. We're not going to investigate them. Meanwhile, they have cash for access, cash for honors, all of that mess going on, including taking money from the, Bin Laden family. So if they can let all of that go with all of that money, and again, this is millions of dollars Prince Charles and his charities are taking, you're going after Ngozi for her few measly coins for her charity that's helping domestic violence and violence against women victims? I mean, seriously? So I think the more people call out the charity for their hypocrisy, the better. People need to understand, no, these people have royal links, the charity chairman's, again, his wife has royal links. She's the granddaughter of Winston Churchill, or the great granddaughter or great granddaughter, whatever she is, of Winston Churchill, who was a friend of the Queen's. And also, she was the bridesmaid at King Charles's wedding when he was marrying Princess Diana. She was a bridesmaid. That's his wife. And so this royal connection, of course, they're trying to make an example of Ngozi. So, but anyways, please pray for her to give her strength, because goodness, grievances, this is unfair and really, really, really gross. And again, when all of those things, Camilla is silent. Camilla is silent. So there we go. But anyways, guys, I think, let's see, do I have anything else that we can go? Oh, this is just some more pictures. I think we looked at that earlier. And oh my goodness, did you guys see this before I go? Now, someone put the picture, the top left one, as that was from Meghan's house. Now, I couldn't verify that, but I knew where Meghan was staying in Canada was shoot, and when she was in Los Angeles, her house was beautiful. And this is Harry's house at Kensington Palace on the right. I was like, oh my goodness, I was in shock. Harry doesn't even have a closet. He's like has a rack for his clothes, and he doesn't even have a closet to put his shoes. And has like a plastic thing under. I mean, what on earth? People have been attacking Meghan for, she is marrying, and she's like what is he? I don't even remember what they call her. You know, basically that she's a grifter, that she's marrying up, and that she's marrying Harry for his money, which Harry has money. But this is how Harry's living. This is the cottage. What is it, Adelaide or Nottingham, whichever cottage they were at Kensington Palace. This is, and I was like, oh my gosh. And she was talking about Harry always hitting his head because he was so tall against the ceiling, and it's just like, Meghan left her beautiful home for this. And so that's when Meghan talks about, people judging her and the perception, they're having an idea that they live at Kensington Palace. So they have this grand palace to go to. Meanwhile, it's this dingy cottage in the back. And, there's Meghan and Harry in the back doing whatever they're doing in the back of the car. It looks like a shed. It looks like somebody's old shed. And it's just like, oh my goodness. And judging from Harry's outfit, this is his wedding day. Like, this is just sad. This is just so sad. And Meghan talks about, trying to make the cottage into a home and all of that stuff. But it's just like, you left your house to go to this? And this was her reality, and people were judging her because they assumed that when she married Harry, she, went to live in all this luxury. And it's like, yeah, that's the luxury. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. And again, look, I'm not knocking people's houses or whatever, if that's your house and it looks like that at all. But I'm saying that is like the perception and the kind of things that the royal reporters especially were building up. It's like Meghan left this, the gang-scarred streets of LA, and she is now in the glory of Kensington Palace. And she's now, you think of the big chandeliers, and she's gold pianos, and they give you all this impression that Meghan, this is where she's going. And then you see this, and you're like, this is falling a little short. Like way short of that mark. This is the reality, and that's what she said. Like, people are judging her on their perception, but she is living the reality, and none of it is what people think it is. And judging from Princess Anne's house, that rumpled mess, and so it is just oh, imagine leaving that to go to that, and Meghan was willing to do it. She did it. And but now Harry is like living high on the hog in Montecito. Why would I want to come back to Kensington Palace if I were him? I'm like, nah, I like it in California. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. But anyways, I think that's it. I think that's all I got. Let me see. Let's see if I can get a last post here. Let's see. Maria says most UK homes don't have built-in closets. Oh, really? They have those added wardrobes. I see that on the British shows Escape to the Country. Oh, I didn't know that. I'm so sorry. I had no idea. I never even thought of that. I am so sorry. I did not realize that. Also, hope I didn't offend anyone by mentioning that. I did not realize that. Sorry. Yeah. Ooh. You need to learn things before you say things. So sorry about that. Emerald says, I was in London when they married. A reporter says Harry married up. He seriously did in so many ways. Now he can live in the home that he wants to, huge yard, run around bare feet, and, run around with his kids and all of those things. So absolutely, absolutely. And thank you, Marlene, for thumbs up. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And final word from Church Nelly. Have a great afternoon, all. Smooches. And I'm going to say the same thing to you as well. Smooches to everyone. Thank you guys so much for hanging with me on a wonderful, wonderful Thursday. If you're like me, you're going to try to get some sleep at some point. So thank you guys so much. For sharing your thoughts on this series with me. Thank you so much for our awesome moderators, Lydia, Church Nelly, Karen M, Cookies and Cream, for moderating the space and keeping it wonderful and safe and fun. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you to all of our, I'm going to remove our little banner so that you can see everyone. Thank you so much for to all of our Two Cents crew members, again, who support the channel on a monthly basis. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And also our Gold Star supporters who support the channel, whether it's PayPal, Cash App, super thanks, super stickers, super, all the supers. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for all of your support. I appreciate it. So anyways, guys, have a fantastic day. I will most likely check you out on I'm not sure if Anne, I think Anne was earlier today. I think she was earlier today, or Baron later today. I'll probably come and hang for a bit. So have a fantastic day. I love you all, and I will see you next time. Bye.